So culture matters, and the culture in which you grow up will inform what you think government is about. And I've thought about this a lot because I've wondered why it is that for so many young people who are activists, I mean, I'm talking young people who are doing the political analysis and understanding the impact of trade deals and the WTO, or looking at what happens when media is in small number of hands. I mean, there are a lot of politically aware young people who are still not aware of what difference it makes to elect their member of parliament, not thinking about what difference government makes in their lives. And then there's, of course, another group of young people who aren't looking at the larger political analysis and just don't see any role for government in their lives. And I've thought a lot about why this is, and I think it's that young people, the generation, my daughter's generation, and up till she's 21, so sort of say 21 to 35, that generation grew up when the new mantra had begun. This was a mantra of Maggie Thatcher and Ronald Reagan that started repeating, without evidence, by the way, that big government is bad government. The private sector can do everything better. We need to get rid of regulations. Sayings like, we don't want the government in our face. So then, and the language that goes with that, I mean, it's very carefully crafted language to minimize the importance of government in our lives. Things like, referring to people as consumers and taxpayers instead of as citizens. When you self-identify as a citizen, you realize that we are collectively, as a society, making a voluntary decision, at least that's the theory, to take care of each other and to pool our resources. And taxes are the way we pool our resources to have a civilized society, to have the schools, the hospitals, the roads, the sewers, the recycling. I mean, you're not going to do that as private individuals, and no private company is going to do that for you because they're going to want to get a profit out of it. So if it's done right, which, let's face it, public sector workers, whether they are your policemen or your firemen or your recycle and waste collectors, they're doing something you don't want the private sector doing. Public sector workers and the public sector as an expression of our collective will to take care of each other is what government is. And a lot of that framing, I had that framing growing up because my parents grew up during the Depression, and my dad's experience in England or my mom's experience in the U.S. was that there was something the government was doing to help them. My dad put it really well a bunch of years ago. He's 86 now, but he was in his late 70s, and we were fighting some latest stupidity from government that wanted to destroy the environment in our area. And he said something that really struck me, because he said, I think I really preferred the Second World War. Now, I knew he'd been getting bombed as the community in which he lived, which is on the outskirts of London, had been getting regular aerial bombardment from the Nazis. They had been part of the Blitz. My father had as an adolescent, people in the community on a regular basis killed as a result of bombing. So the idea that he actually preferred the Second World War brought me up short. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, in those days, we always had the feeling that government was on our side. So I think we've gone through, why do young people not identify so much with the idea of government, so much with why it matters to vote, is that there's been a deliberate corporatist campaign to undermine government as an expression of ourselves and to make it an alien other that's in our way. And if we reclaim democracy, and if every young person votes, we reclaim government as an instrument of our choices and not as an external force to get in our way.